God says, there is something unseen moving in the place where you sleep. A presence lingers in the shadows, its form shifting, waiting, watching. The air has changed, the walls whisper, and the feeling of being watched grows stronger. The window is no longer just glass separating you from the outside world. It has become a gateway, an opening through which unseen eyes peer in. A tall figure stands beyond it, silent, unmoving, but you feel him. You have sensed it in the quiet moments, the flicker of movement at the corner of your sight. Your spirit recognizes danger even when your mind refuses to believe it. The night carries a weight it did not before. The atmosphere is thick with something unspoken, something waiting. You know this is not just fear, this is a sign. The unseen world is closer than you think. Type 333 if you choose to awaken to the truth. The tall man at your window is not ordinary, nor is his presence meaningless. He stands as a marker, a sign of something shifting in your life. The question is not whether he is there, but why he has come. You have ignored the creeping unease, explaining away the strange sensations. The sounds, the flickers of shadow, the cold air that does not belong, none of it is coincidence. You are being watched. A doorway is trying to open, and this presence seeks entry. It does not need an invitation, it only needs you to remain unaware. Awareness is your greatest weapon, and now is the time to wield it. This is not the first time you have felt something watching you. It has been there before, but now it stands closer. The veil is thinning. Type 777 if you refuse to be blind any longer. God says, the forces at work are not of this world, yet they seek to move within it. The tall man does not act alone. There are others, unseen but present, lingering in the quiet corners of your home. Have you noticed the strange occurrences? The objects that move without cause, the sudden coldness, the nights where you wake up at the same hour. These are not coincidences. They are warnings, echoes of something greater that stirs in the unseen. The enemy does not announce his presence with grand gestures. He moves in whispers, in glimpses, in shadows that slip between seconds. The watchers gather, waiting for a moment of weakness. They have patience beyond time, and they do not give up easily. The battle is already upon you. Type 999 if you are ready to claim your authority. The tall man at your window has not left. He does not come and go, he waits. He watches in silence, knowing that silence is its own kind of power. Every night, the feeling grows stronger, the sense of something unseen pressing against your spirit. You are not imagining this. Your soul knows what your mind hesitates to accept. There is an invitation being extended, but it is not one you should accept. The watchers wait for you to welcome them unknowingly, to let them step inside without resistance. They thrive on ignorance. But you are not ignorant. You are not powerless. You are standing at the threshold of revelation. Type 111 to declare your home off limits to darkness. The presence has grown bolder. What once remained outside now dares to reach further. The shadows move differently now. It is no longer just at the window. It is closer, pressing against the boundaries, testing them. The air is thick with an unseen weight. You have felt it in your sleep, the pressure, the dreams that are more than dreams. Something tries to enter, to find a way in. You must act before it does. There is a shift coming, a moment where decisions will be made. You are being called to take control before the watchers take more ground. The time is now. Type 222 if you refuse to surrender your space. The enemy relies on fear to paralyze, but fear is not your master. Fear is a tool, a weapon, but only if you let it be. You are not called to be afraid. You have been given power, even in the midst of unseen battles. Your voice is a weapon. Your awareness is a shield. The watchers do not expect you to fight back. They expect you to ignore, to dismiss, to pretend they do not exist. That is their strategy. But you will not turn away. You will not be silent. You will not give them ground. God says, the unseen world is moving closer, pressing against the walls of your reality. A figure stands at your window, silent and unmoving, waiting for the moment you least expect. This is not imagination, this is a sign, a warning, a shift in the atmosphere around you. There is something in the air, a presence that was not there before. It watches, it lingers, and it does not leave. The feeling of being observed is not paranoia, it is the truth pressing against your spirit. The shadow at the window is not a trick of the light. It stands in the same place, night after night, growing bolder, growing stronger. You have sensed it before, but now it is undeniable. Your home is no longer just a place of rest. Something is near, something unseen but not unnoticed. The time to act is now. Type 333 if you refuse to remain unaware. The watchers do not announce themselves with sound. They move in silence, in flickers at the edge of sight, in the cold touch of the air when the night deepens. You have felt it before, that unshakable sense of being watched. You have dismissed it, pushed it aside, convinced yourself it was nothing. But it is not nothing. The moment you acknowledge it, you step into the truth. The unseen figure is not just standing at your window, it is waiting for something. It does not move forward yet, but that does not mean it will not. You cannot afford to ignore the signs any longer. The window is more than just glass, it is a barrier. And barriers can be broken. Type 777 if you are ready to take authority. God says, you are not powerless, but your awareness must awaken. This is not just a presence, this is a battle. The unseen world does not remain hidden forever. There have been moments where the air around you felt different, charged with something unknown. You have noticed the way the night feels heavier, the way the shadows do not move as they should. Your spirit has sensed what your eyes cannot see. The figure at the window is patient. It does not rush, because it does not need to. The longer you hesitate, the stronger its presence becomes. This is not fear, this is a call to action. You must act before it takes another step closer. Type 999 if you refuse to allow darkness a foothold. It has been watching for longer than you realize. This is not new. The signs have been there, subtle but persistent. Objects out of place. Sounds that have no source. Waking at strange hours with a pressure in the air. You have tried to explain it away. You have ignored the whispers in your spirit that something is wrong. But ignoring does not make it disappear. The figure at the window is not waiting for permission, it is waiting for weakness. It seeks entry, and hesitation is the key that unlocks the door. Type 111 to declare that your home belongs to light. The watchers do not act alone. Where one stands, others linger in the distance. They do not rush, they wait, knowing patience is their greatest weapon. You have noticed the change, the way the night does not feel the same as before. There is something moving beyond sight, something pressing in. The boundary between seen and unseen is thinning. The moment you choose to act is the moment everything changes. This presence has no claim over you, no right to stand where it does. But you must command it to leave. You have more power than you know. You are not helpless, not forgotten, not alone. But you must take the first step. God says, the presence in your home is not just a shadow. A tall man watches, unmoving, waiting, lingering in the unseen spaces. He has been there longer than you realize, but now his presence grows stronger. The air in your home has changed. It carries something unfamiliar, something unsettling. You have felt it but have chosen to ignore it. This figure does not knock at the door because he is already inside. He stands in places where your eyes do not wander. He watches from the corners, the reflections, the spaces between reality and what lies beyond. Your spirit has sensed him, even when your mind refused to see. He is not new, but his patience is running thin. The moment of exposure is near. Type 333 if you refuse to stay silent any longer. The nights have not been the same. The air is heavier, pressing against your chest like a warning you cannot fully grasp. Something is trying to reach you. There have been sounds, small, insignificant at first. A floorboard creaking when no one moves. A door shifting when the wind is still. These are not coincidences. They are signs, warnings left for you to recognize. But will you recognize them in time? The tall man does not need to make himself known to be present. His existence lingers in the silence. He waits for the right moment. Type 777 if you choose to be aware of his presence. God says, you cannot fight what you refuse to see. Ignoring the signs will not make them disappear. The battle is already at your doorstep. Your home is more than walls and a roof. It is a place of refuge, but that refuge is being tested. Something is pressing in from the unseen. The figure watching you is not standing still. He shifts, moves, grows closer with each passing day. What was once distant is now at arm's length. There is a reason why sleep does not come easily. Why the atmosphere changes when night falls. Your spirit is sensing the battle that has already begun. Type 999 if you refuse to let darkness take hold. The watchers do not come alone. When one lingers, others gather unseen. They wait for weakness, for hesitation, for doors left unlocked. Have you felt it? The cold touch of air that does not belong? The flicker of movement when nothing should be moving? These are not tricks of the eye. They are warnings. The unseen does not wait for permission, it only waits for an opportunity. Every night, the tall man stands closer. He does not speak, but his presence speaks for him. The time to act is now. Type 111 if you refuse to be a silent victim. The moment is near where everything will change. This presence does not exist without purpose. The watchers have come for a reason. You have more power than you know. But power unused is power wasted. You cannot afford to be silent. This battle is not one of flesh, but of presence, of spirit, of dominion. The watchers assume you will remain blind. They do not expect you to act. But you are not weak. You are not blind. You are standing at the edge of something greater than you understand.